Good morning. So today I'm working on a client's TAG Heuer link. It is a ETA quartz movement, and you can see the way the second hand stops and pauses and then goes forward about 5 seconds or so. That's indicating that it needs a new battery. So I have a quality Renata 396 battery to replace it from. That's a Swiss battery. And I wanted to show you how I water resistance test these watches after we change a simple battery. Go ahead and use my non-ferrous tweezers. Remove the old battery. Get the new battery out. Drop it in place. Very, very simple. There's a metal top that goes with these. Get it in place. Perfect. Go ahead and screw the back down. Now, you can see that it's ticking normally. All right, I'll go ahead and show you how we now test to make sure that we didn't get the gasket off center when we screw the back down, and make sure that the watch is still water resistant for the customer. This is the Elma Leak Controller 2000, super cool name, but what it is a dry tester for water resistance, and the way it works is off of case deformation when a vacuum is applied. So to show you how it works, or the premise behind it, I blew up a finger cot with just some air in it. I'm gonna place it inside, and I'm gonna turn the pump on, and it's gonna create a vacuum, and you'll see that the balloon inflates. So as the vacuum is created inside the chamber, the air inside the balloon expands, and that's the premise that it uses to test if a watch is water resistant or not. So what will happen is you put the watch in, you turn the vacuum pump on, and there's a tiny micrometer that touches the crystal of the watch, and as the air inside the watch expands, if there is no leak, very, very small amounts of deformation will happen with the crystal in the case, and you'll see it measured on the dial. Once you get full deformation, you stop the pump and you let it sit for about 5 minutes and see if the needle changes. If it changes, that means air is getting in, and the deformation goes back down. But this is a great way to test a watch after replacing a battery, or before I wet test a watch. What this will not do for you is it will not give you a pressure or a bar rating for a watch. It'll just tell you if it's water resistant at the vacuum level that it tested it at. On watches like a Submariner or like a Seiko Sumo or something that has 200, 300 meters of water resistance, those crystals and cases are so thick, this machine has a hard time measuring the deformation. So with those, often I'll just go ahead and go straight to the wet test. But let me go ahead and get I'll go ahead and show you. I'll push this red button and you'll see it. The air leaves the chamber and the balloon will go back down. All right, now let's get that tag in there to see how it does. All right, so you set the watch on the rest that's here in the middle, and then you pull this plunger up, which is the measuring needle, and then gently lower it down to the crystal. All right, and then you rotate this outer ring until the needle lines up with 0. All right, so the needle is 0. replace the cap, and turn the pump on. Now what we'll do is turn the pump off because it stopped increasing. And we're going to watch and see if that needle starts moving back to the left towards 0. And we'll give it a couple minutes. Okay, that's been 5 minutes. The needle hasn't moved. And I'll go ahead and depressurize the canister and you'll see that needle move back to 0. There it is. So we know that this is at least water resistant to some amount. Okay, so we noticed that that tag did not give us a big reading on the needle, meaning the case did not deform. And part of that is because it's got a sapphire crystal, it's a solid, heavy-duty stainless steel case. So for comparison, this is a 1978 Rolex Datejust we just did a service on. This has the plastic crystal. So let's go ahead and put this in there and see how that acts. Now I've already tested this one, so I know what it's going to do. It is water resistant. Pull up the measuring needle so you don't scratch the crystal. Gently lower it back down. Rotate the dial until we get to 0. Replace the top. And we'll go ahead and turn the pump on. Watch what a difference this does. Look how much that crystal starts to deform. So the way I do these, I'll get to about plus 20. Stop the pump. Let it sit there for 5 minutes. And then, now this one I've already tested. So let's say 5 minutes has elapsed. The needle does not move, does not go back to 0. That means no air is getting inside the case, which is allowing the crystal and the case to go back to an even state. Push and release the pressure. Needle goes back to 0, and we know that that has water resistance. Just a cool piece of equipment we use in the shop. I figured I'd show you guys. Thanks.